Hi. Okay, let's talk cognitive development in our 2 to 6 year olds. So we know that their brains are growing, that they are myelinating, that they're getting faster and more coordinated, um, but that they still, their regulation areas are not all that strong, but they're growing as their prefrontal cortex comes online and grows. So what did Piaget believe to be? Remember, Piaget's first stage was sensory motor. Those were the 6 substages for our 0 to 2s. His second stage is pre-operational. Basically, it means before logic. So he saw that children this age didn't have a whole lot of logic involved in their thinking. And so, but he did see a lot of symbolic thinking. And this is a lot of that, what we saw in the last of the sensory motor stage. Pretend play becomes huge. Language frees the child from the limits of sensory motor experiments. So now they can experience, so now they can talk. So now they can really interact with the world around them in a whole new way using language. Animism is a big part. And what that means, this is, I love this part of thinking in children, this time period, if you think about it. 2 to 6 is the age of princesses and superheroes, and not just like liking to hear about them or read about them, but truly believing in them, like Santa Claus and the Tooth Fairy and the Easter Bunny, and it's beautiful. But animism is a whole nother thing of like the trees are talking and they, and everything is given life, is personified as having human emotion and human feeling, and it all is around the child's experience. That the clouds rain down so that the grass can be green for me, right? Magical thinking is huge. The power to pretend, that they use symbols, a written word or drawing can represent something else. The box can be a rocket ship, a stick, a gun, a baton. There's a wand, so many things that they can do. So he thought that there were 4 limits to this pre-operational thought. He did a lot of experiments with children. You have a video that shows some of his actual experiments being done with a child who I think is about the cutest little thing in the world. And so I want you to watch that and look for these types of, and I would actually love you to go ahead and pause this and watch that. And, because as you go through these things, or you can listen to me talk about some of these things and see if you can see them in the video, but you'll see it, and it's really quite lovely. Centration is the tendency to focus one aspect of a situation to the exclusion of all others. And I really see all of these things working together. They tend to meld together. A child insists that lions and tigers are not cats. So, cat lives at home and in my house, and that's what I know of a cat. So this is a type of egocentrism. Child sees the world through their own schemas, through their own schemes, through the ways that they have come to know the world. This is cat. This is what cat is. It lives at home. It's little, blah, blah, blah. And so nothing else can be that. So they can just focus all of their energy onto seeing one thing, and then they define it through that way, through their schemas and the way they've come to understand the world. They are egocentric, but it's not, we talk about egocentrism again in adolescence, and it's a little bit different. This is not about any kind, and we don't talk about it then as selfish either, but this is definitely not about selfishness. This is truly a lack of perspective, that I don't see the world as separate from me, that I assume, especially in the early years of this, until about 4.5 or 5, that the way I see the world, everything I think, you think too. And there's no splitting of the world in the mind of the child, that everybody thinks the same. And so it's really a lack of perspective. And so of course everything is around what I see. Egocentrism, not selfishness. I just went through this. So if a child looks at a picture and expects that you see what they see, even say that you're looking at something and you're looking at it from the left-hand side and they're looking at it from the right-hand side, they won't understand that you see it from a different perspective, that things are on different sides. They assume you see it the way they see it. Daddy wants a teddy bear when he has a boo-boo because I would. That would make me happy. The presents they want to buy are based on what they like, because they assume that will make everybody feel happy. So they also centration, they have focus on appearance, which to me is really a lot the same thing, except the one thing they focus on is the appearance. So if they have the schema that a girl has longer hair than a girl with short hair is a boy. They don't, there's not a whole lot of differences in here. The taller child is older. So they look only on the way that they see things, and not anything else that might come into the equation. So you'll see this in the little boy in the video, who's so cute. Static reasoning, they assume the world is unchanging, here and now. So this, I like that example that I give right here on the PowerPoint, or the book gives, that, you know, when you see the child's teacher in the grocery store, they're very confused by that. They don't understand what they're doing there, because it's like the teacher springs up out of the classroom when they arrive because they're there for them. And they don't, and so I don't know, with my own child, I saw this with like trying to understand family dynamics. Like, your uncle is my brother and his children are, you know, his cousins are my nephew, you know. So as we try to teach children like all these different roles that people play in the world, they don't understand that because it is according to them. And it is not changing. For, you know, it's around them. Irreversibility, the idea that nothing can be undone. My child's 11. I sometimes still see this. But I notice it when I don't see it, but I can still get like a little bit of a, oh, like I think it's going to happen. Because the best example of this is that, you know, when you have put something on the hamburger, or you have put two foods together that the child, that just right thing, they don't want them together, and then you try to just separate them. Oh, no, 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 no. It's all ruined and contaminated and won't work now. So you go in the kitchen and you pretend to put new ones on, or whatever you have to do, and you take whatever, you bring it back and it's new. But the thing is, they think it's been contaminated, and you just can't do that. So now when my child will let me do that, I'm like, whew, okay, good. It's all good. So that one can get a little. Now the irreversibility, I really want you to think about that with the little boy in the video. And did he show that or not? Did he let it go back? Because I think that one's kind of interesting. So the lack of conservation, the idea that the amount of a substance remains the same. So this is just like the looking at appearance, though. So when you watch the little boy, you will definitely see this lack of conservation. So what we know is that if you have water in a tall glass and in a short glass, and it's the same amount of water, though, or if you have it in two short cups and you pour one into a larger cup, it's not going to be based on the way it looks. It's going to be based on how much you know is in there. Children can't see this. They will go with how it looks. The taller glass has more liquid, even when the child sees it's being poured from a smaller glass. So just watch the video. You'll see the little boy take place in all of these. Try to figure out what you can see in terms of that. Theory. Children's attempt to explain everything. Humankind, human beings. We have made up theories about why things happen the way they happen since the dawn of man. And so children do this, and we see this. It's like early man, right? Children attempt to explain everything they see and hear by constructing theories. Why? And they're usually magical theories sometimes. And, you know, as they get a little bit older, they might have some logic, or they have logic of their own that's so astounding to us sometimes. And so amazing sometimes. But they will have their own theories for why rain falls, why leaves change color, why anything happens the way it happens, why mom's upset. You know, they'll have theories for everything. Lots of questions about human behavior and biology. And they really just want to know why. They don't necessarily need the big biological purposes. They want a reason. And that's what they're looking for. Why? This is the world of why. Why? Right? We know those. Children's theories. Okay, theory of mind. Got a video for this one that displays this beautifully. And all this is a person's theory of what other people might be thinking. Children don't have the capacity for this until about 4.5 or 5 to understand that somebody else is thinking something different than what they're thinking. They think in terms of the Borg. Like, I don't know if any of you watch Star Trek, you know, kind of like the Borg, like everybody has the same thing in their head. So they don't get that it's different until they get, and those with siblings will get this sooner because a sibling won't let you think they think what you're thinking as much. Children must realize that other people are not necessarily thinking. So theory of mind is the capacity to know that you are a separate being, separate from others, and that it's not just physical, but your thoughts are separate from theirs as well. That's what theory of mind is. And so watch the video because it's going to show it to you more than I can tell it to you. It requires brain maturation of that prefrontal cortex, some of those social areas advancing as well. Language ability to be able to understand the words and to be able to share in those conversations. Siblings. And different cultures will see this differently. So I'm going to stop this one here. Go ahead and watch the videos for this. Very interesting and fun.